Oh, boy, it is the Lee Company Titans Talkback. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company, tackle their heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical problems, and they can protect your home, too. Your next play, visit leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. And all we needed was for the Tennessee Titans to look competent today. And listen, hard-fought game by the defense, and I think you could say that probably about any player almost on that team, that they were fighting hard. But Dyson, the phone line 615-737-1045. I don't want to get too critical right off the bat and negative.
It's week one. It's week one. It's week one, man.
It's week one, but I'm going to let you give us some positivity here. Something positive to take away from this game.
You've been with me long enough now. You know I got that, man. I give you the half full. Listen, I was talking about it off air. This was a boxing match where both guys were just trying to point to win the game, just jabbing each other. And finally somebody landed a big punch that wins it. And the Titans just tried to win the game by jabbing at you. And then every now and then you throw something and it just didn't work. It didn't stick. And when you make a fatal mistake, whether it be drop balls, penalties, as we'll get into, I'm sure, maybe even some decisions, play calling, things like that they may want to take back, it's hard to overcome that in a hostile environment like Denver, let alone overcoming the fact, or I shouldn't say overcoming, the fact that you were even in the plus in the turnover margin, which when you +4 on the road in a place like Denver, is one of the loudest outdoor stadiums in the NFL. You expect, I mean, they were in a close game, but you expect you're probably on the plus side of this win. However, you get 4 takeaways. You have 16 penalties, Zach?
It was, I believe, 16 penalties. I know this is for 135 yards.
135 yards. You had 13. Just about 13 and you had just about as much
131 yards, apparently.
About much total offense, you had penalties.
Mm-hmm.
I think the positive side of all this, and I went negative side first. I don't ever do that. He's going to start with the positive. I love what I see out the quarterback, man. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of potential in there. Did he miss some throws today? Yeah. Could he help the receiver out a little bit more? Yes. But could they have helped him out? Absolutely. But I love the trajectory of this young man. I really think they have something special. You saw his leadership. You saw his sternness, his assertiveness. He went after guys. He was trying to communicate in the midst of between plays. You need to be here. I need you here. You know, he really showed something different than what we had seen in the last year, probably 2 years at that position. And it's just game one. And he was poised. The moment wasn't big for him. And I'm saying, man, Denver's not an easy place to play. Those are passionate fans. They're all over in the NFL, passionate fans. But Denver is one of those places, old historical, like Green Bay, Chicago. They're in it, you know, and they're faithful to the Broncos. And the moment didn't faze him, and I think that was special to watch, man. But there's some exciting things to talk about from that standpoint. But the disappointing thing is obviously the outcome and the way that it unfolded, specifically the second half of that fourth quarter.
Stoney. I mean, that's about all. He took all the positives.
Listen, I do have a few positives. We'll get into.
Just real quick. Let me ask you guys this, because last year at Chicago, the defense put up a performance similar to this, and then the defense started flaming out. Maybe because of the offense not being able to sustain drives. Week one is a liar sometimes. Do we believe in this defense as it currently sits, or is this just that a Broncos team that kind of looked a little out of sorts?
Yeah, they looked a little rusty. It's interesting because I see where you're going with that, and I think the stressful thing for this defense is going to be if they get in and week out, and their offense can't get off the ground, and you keep asking your defense to pitch a perfect game. that's where you get into trouble. Today, it did seem like a good game plan.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of rushing together that we've heard this coaching staff talk about all summer, they generated some pressure. The penalty aside, Jeffrey Simmons was a menace today. They got the safeties involved. They were blitzing with Jarvis Brownlee Jr., they really did a good job of having pressure come from all over the field, except for from the edge rushers. But that's a different story.
Yeah.
So I think schematically it can work if they're not asked to just play perfect every single weekend.
Mm-hmm. You say play perfect. The offense, it was like, you got to know, you put up points, you just didn't get touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
You turned 2 of those possessions into 6 points. Now we're having a whole different kind of conversation. We're talking about, they went to Denver and got a 1. The rookie got his first win, that sort of thing. But on the flip side of that is, to your point, when you have those opportunities, you have to capitalize, or else at the end, like you said, season progresses, the defense is going to get wore down, and we're going to be talking about now the defense is down and that sort of thing. But the difference between Chicago and Denver, to me, was quarterback play.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I think, Levis made some throws that first game, but the obvious one was the one that cost him, right? That really was the backbreaker, the pick 6. And we didn't see Cam put the team in a bad situation. So he still was playing at a level where he's giving them opportunity to win the game. They just couldn't move the football. Running the football today was atrocious. You got to be able to run the football.
Yeah, Cam Ward said something to the effect that, we showed that we could run the football, and I'm like, sort of. I mean, there were some really tough runs by Tony Pollard, but there's a turnover right there that cost you some momentum.
They had some plays running right behind Zeitler and Latham.
They should have kept everything to the right. We'll talk more about that. We'll also get to Michigan, Eric, Mark, Micah, and Willie Joe when we come back. This is the Lee Company Titans Talkback Lee Company. All you need, visit them online at leecompany.com. Lee Company Titans Talkback on 104.5 The Zone. It's the Lee Company Titans Talkback. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Fusion Site is the Titans provider of top-of-the-line VIP restroom, trailer, and roll-off dumpster needs. Fusion Site, Nashville's MVP. Visit fusionsite.com to learn more. And you guys want to just go straight to the phones? Phone calls.
I mean, let's get it.
Let's
We got a
talk to the
packed
people.
house.
The people want to
Okay,
talk.
listen. I know that it's almost 8 o'clock. But you got to keep it clean, keep it PG-13 when we go to, because I know there's going to be a lot of upset people. So we're going to go to Michigan, who's in the borough. Michigan, you're on with, I was about to say Blaine and Zach, Stoney and Dyson.
Britt does that all the time.
Man.
He used to.
Always got to keep it clean. I'm almost 50. Come on, you can't be doing that out
Thank
here
you, Michigan.
on these streets. First of all, just want to say I appreciate you guys doing this. I want everybody to keep things in perspective a little bit, right? I'm going to be at the next handful of home games. I don't know what I expected coming in today. I'm glad to see that they played very, very well in 2 of the 3 phases. At a handful of those passes, especially the one to Ridley and 1 or 2 others, just a little bit off on timing. Like, I think they'll clean that up. Mm-hmm. The thing I do want to ask you guys and really want to ask Professor Dyson is, like, how concerned should we be at this point about Callahan being inexperienced as a head coach? And I'm being genuine here when I say this, but the end of the half situation inside your own 10 is just absolutely unforgivable. That section of play calling defies comprehension. I mean, there are 9-year-olds on Madden who know that situation better than they ran it. The third down after you get the fake punt, after you get the muff punt, the third down after they've already pinned their ears back and gotten to your quarterback, for you to run that route combination, I think it was a post, a dig, and a deep cross all on the same side when they've already come to get you on the previous 2 downs. I'm very concerned. This is a guy that was not the primary play caller at his last stop, and there's a lot of stuff on tape now, including the non-challenge on A.O. Manor, where it looked like his elbow touched in bounds, and I think somebody tweeted something that he even said, well, you have to get the elbow and the foot or another body part down, which I don't think is the case. I don't think that's the rule if you get the elbow down. I'm just extremely concerned that the head coach may be insanely over his head, and I'm very curious what you guys think. So I'll listen offline. Appreciate all you do. Look forward to seeing everybody next week at Nissan.
Hey, thanks there, Michigan. Just real quick, I mean, where he specifically asked you, and we'll answer it when we come back after the break. But for you, Dr. Dyson, I mean, where's your confidence level up in Brian Callahan? Can you say his last name?
Well, if we go by our sample size, specifically is 18 games now. I think he has a lot to prove, and I don't know where else to say that. I think there has been some gaps in there, and I know he has some consultants. His father has been a head coach in this league. There's a lot of people surrounding him, and I don't know. He gave examples of some things that happened from a decision maker process, a game management process that were sketch, for lack of a better way to say that you would think those people surrounding him say, hey, we need you to do this, and you need to think about this. And I think to your point, Zach, earlier we were talking about off air, just there's been other instances where the play calling, game management things have come to question, and you're wondering if he's learning and processing as he should as a head coach. We've seen this league, the trend is head coaches become play callers and they give somebody the title of coordinator, whether it be defense or offense. And then that person, based on that success of the head coach who, McVay and LaFleur, and we can go on with Sean Payton and people like, there's a bunch of guys who have created this stigma of great play callers, but they're not necessarily calling plays, but they have touched the cloak of somebody that has success. And I will say this about LaFleur. The reason I went him because he was here. He didn't have great play calling success. Now, his head coach was a defensive-minded guy. He's more offensive-minded, and Vrabel was like, no, I'm sure, because he wanted to be conservative defense, possession. He's trying to get mean possession, all the things, time management. But he went to Green Bay, and he's now regarded as one of the best play callers in the National Football League. So that saying, the hope is not away. I believe if he has, you can't watch and see what people do in front of you and not pick up something. But there's some instincts that people have in them that, regardless of what the script says, regardless of what the data says, regardless of what I think or what everybody else thinks, my instincts say I'm making this call, and then it works out. And I don't know how his instincts are translating because they're not coming up with explosive plays and big wins.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. If you guys are mad about another commercial break, blame Lucas Panzica and Titans Radio, not us. This is the Lee Company Titans Talkback here on 105 The Zone. All right, so Titans Talkback, Lee Company, Titans Talkback, Lee Company. All you need, visit them online at leecompany.com. Available 24/7. Put Lee Company on your team to tackle your home's heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical problems. Schedule online at leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. All right, we're back to a longer segment. We got the bills paid with all the commercials. We'll be here for a little bit longer. We'll get to your phone calls in just a second, but we need to answer Michigan's questions. And I thought Kevin Dyson, right before the break, was talking about instincts, was talking about, patience and all this kind of stuff. And there are things that he has to work on. And so my confidence level, I'm very undecided because the emotional fan in me is pretty much agreeing with the F&M Bank Chat on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live, wherever you're watching Titans Talkback right now, is like, okay, I mean, you don't know the rule, and I think you should get fired. I don't know. and now, but I'm also thinking, okay, well, what if he just gives up play calling?
Yeah.
Can he be a CEO head coach, which I do think is probably more in his wheelhouse. Now, I've seen a lot of people in the chat on Twitter make fun of the quarterback guru, quarterback whisperer, but then they're also saying Cam Ward played very well and wasn't the issue. Well, quarterback guru, quarterback whisperer. Now, I've never called him that.
I haven't either.
We have actually pushed back on that on Titans Talkback last year. We pushed back on it on Cover 2. We pushed back on football and other F words. The only people who called him that before he got hired were people after he got hired, and they were local media people. Yeah. So, and they were not us, local media.
Not me,
so I can at least say that. So my question to me, or to you, I guess,
answer your own question.
to answer my own question. Where's your confidence level at? Because I mean, obviously, I'm a little undecided. I'm pretty much could go either way. You keep him, he may need to make some sacrifices. You fire him, see you later.
Yeah, so I'm not ready to burn everything to the ground just yet. I know that's not going to make the angry mob with their pitchforks happy right now, but I still, as you know, Zach, I took a deep dive into this offense over the summer. There's a piece up on Stacking the Inbox where I really dove into the explosive plays. There is some really good stuff in this playbook from a design standpoint, from a schematic standpoint. I like what they're trying to do here. I think my concern, where the doubt creeps in, is that we're still talking about something today that we were talking about last season, and that is the rhythm of this offense and the flow. And I don't think that it ever really got into a good rhythm today. And when there were moments where it felt like they were cooking in that red zone drive late in the first half of the game, when they're running right behind Kevin Zeitler just over and over, and Tony Pollard is some tough running, chewing up 5-8 yards at a time. And then they line up and they call a play. Cam Ward rolls out to his left, running directly towards the best pass rusher that the Broncos have in Nick Benito, and the drive just completely stalls. Conversely, on the flip side of that, after Denver gets the ball after that, they or the muff punt, I'm sorry, when they have that drive from their backs to their own goal line, basically, then he wants to be aggressive. And it just, there seems to be these moments in games where this offense is on the cusp of really finding that flow state and really getting into a rhythm. And then a play is called that actively takes them out of that.
That's instincts.
And just switches the momentum. And that, to me, is something that I said going into the season, I think that he has to improve upon. And the fact that we're still talking about it after this first game, when we were talking about it against the Jacksonville Jaguars last season, for example, that is what is concerning to me, that I do kind of feel like I think Dr. Dyson put it best. I think he still has something to prove.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't prove that with the situation in Tennessee, it does kind of make me wonder how much his leash will tighten up. No pun intended.
Can I play devil's advocate just before we go to calls? For him, he was dealt a hand, like he was given a quarterback last year, and he was told, you're the quarterback guru, wherever that came from, whatever. Probably because Peyton Manning said it, I don't know. But he was asked to come in, make Levis into an NFL quarterback, right? So he was giving a set of cards to say, make this happen. Well, it didn't work out, right? Levis didn't have some of the things that he wanted to build, some of the throws he wanted to do. He had some processing and some things that he didn't do well. So now you give him the crutch. That's why I'm saying being devil's advocate. You give him a crutch. He still is playing with a rookie quarterback in his first game of the season. Now, they're not handcuffing Cam and saying we're not going to give you this much of the playbook. I don't get that sense.
No.
However, there's still probably some apprehension as a play caller to his processing and what he actually can and cannot do in week one, right? So I know people are probably gonna kill me on F&M chat and everything else too. They're gonna be like, Dyson, you that bad. But my point is saying is he don't get this far in the National Football League without having some sort of ability. Now, some people probably interview better than others and they get opportunities more than others. We get that. But you don't maneuver like he has at his age without having some sort of intelligence and ability. So before we just completely just blow this thing up and throw this guy off the pasture, I think, like you both have said, is there some other alternatives that can help him and maybe alleviate some responsibilities where he can focus in on, and it's not saying he doesn't have to give up all play calling, because I think all head coaches have some sort of influence. I was with the Panthers one year, and I think we were playing the Titans, matter of fact, and we were winning, and he started throwing the football. The offensive coordinator, Dan Henning, started throwing the football. John Fox, the head coach, came over, said, if you throw another bleep, 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 past this half, I would bleep, 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 you're at the end of this game. We didn't throw another pass the second half, that first half, because that was his influence. He's a defensive-minded guy. That's what he wanted. So my point in saying that is he is in that CEO seat, to your point, but he's also in that assistant coach role. And I don't know if the blend is working right now, but the devil advocate part of that is he was dealt a hand with a quarterback that struggled, and now he's getting a rookie quarterback ready.
And what do we think? Like 6 drops to, not just by Calvin Ridley, but 6 drops
5
total?
or 6. There's one on Calvin Ridley that I was like,
So 5 or 6 drops, and some of those were explosive plays. That could be changing the whole
dynamic
of what we're talking about when it comes to offensive play calling or the offense itself.
And production,
And production. Now, listen, that doesn't excuse some of the stuff that he did earlier in the game, like Michigan talked about. He laid it all out perfectly.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of where I'm at, is like, it's kind of like you're in that situation. Like, if you were to walk in tomorrow and heard that Brian Callahan got fired, I'd be like, okay, I could see it.
I get it.
Yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at with Brian Callahan. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Eric in Nashville. Eric, you're on with Dyson, Stoney, and Zach.
Yeah, guys, the only thing I'll say about that halftime thing, because Michigan kind of stole my thunder. I was going to talk about that. I just wish Taylor had asked him in the thing when he was talking to him, what was the process, and you decided to do that when it was 6-3, and that's what it should be in the halftime, and I'll leave it at that. Guys, as far as the game, it seems like, again, just 2 steps forward, 1 step back. What was frustrating about the 4 turnovers and only 6 points and the 13 penalties is just a lot of times it seemed to kill whatever positives we had. Like, for instance, Cam had a big run, and that was called back because of a penalty. We also had a 2nd and 1 where I think it was a short yardage, gets backed up 5 yards, and then Tony Pollard, the next play, fumbles the ball. Then we had, of course, Jeffrey Simmons that was called offsides when it was 3rd and short, kept the first down drive alive, and they get a field goal. And also, of course, the roughing the pass in the second half. I didn't see the second half, but I saw the highlights. I saw the fumble, and then, of course, I heard where Cam got sacked back-to-back times or whatever that was. But it was just so frustrating that every time we seemed to have a positive play or something like it, it got called back because of the penalties, where we continue to shoot ourselves in the foot. And if we're going to make any progress, it's just we have to stop that. It just seemed like that, we talk about it, but we still do it. It's like, and I'm sure it's being emphasized, but that's so frustrating. What can be done to kind of correct all this stuff that's going on? And guys, appreciate it. I'm going to be at the home opener too, guys. Looking forward to it. Hopefully we'll play better. Guys, tighten up. Y'all take care, and we'll talk again soon.
Hey, thanks, Eric.
Had they scored on that red zone possession right there before the half and still lost the game, would you feel better about the situation?
I would say so.
I would say so. I would say probably that forgives most
of it.
Most of it.
Because then we're talking about their scrappy effort, how close it was.
It was 19-20, and penalties just got you.
Yeah, got you.
And I think, but though penalties, how much of this is now on the head coach? We have 18 games of sample, and the penalties have not gone away. And they talked about the whole offseason was eliminating penalties and doing all these games or these events, and you get. If you do a false start in practice, you get docked like 60 points, and your little mini team suffers. And it's just like it all went out the window. Like it just looked like Jarvis Brownlee Jr., listen, that's who he's going to be in this system because that's what the system demands, physical, aggressive corners. But he was making some really bad, penalties. Dan Moore, we need a whole episode on Dan Moore. Before we go to break, let's go to Mark, who's been waiting. Mark, you're on with Titans Talkback.
Hey, man, I think I'm about to start betting because they said we were supposed to lose by 8+. But, hey, we gave it away. Man, I just knew we was going to get at least a field goal, and then kick it off and then, try to do an onside kick or whatever. But, man, it just pissed me off. I know we're going to a break real quick, but real quick things that I was impressed by was special teams, part of special teams. Of course, the long run. Cam, confident. I love his leadership. And then him and Illick, I think they did pretty good. What I was pissed off about was the refs. I think they did terrible, one-sided. Ridley, pissed off about him. He could have done more. Probably was the atmosphere. I don't know. And then Callahan cost us the game, man. I think this game really single-handedly was lost because of Callahan. He called some terrible plays, didn't know how to pass when he was supposed to call passing plays, when he was supposed to call passing plays, didn't call running plays when he was supposed to call running plays. Dude was terrible, man. I ain't going to say give up on him. And first game jitters, first game for everybody. The second game, let's see what they got at home. If we lose at home, hot seat. Talk to y'all later.
All right, thanks, Mark. You can't stop the hot seat, that's for sure right now. I mean, it's going to be the talk all week, I'm sure. And I think right now it's kind of warranted. You're a 3-14 head coach, and you come out and it just looks like the same, to steal a phrase from Don Davenport of 3HL, it's the same Shiano, different day. It really is. It is the same stuff, different day. It is this. I think our friend JT on Twitter said this looks like a 3-14 team right now. And then listen,
I don't know.
I don't know if it
feel
will
like that.
be.
I don't feel like Dire Straits like that.
Yeah, but I mean, when we have been preaching all off seasons about a 5 or 6 win team. That's a 5 or 6 win team.
Yeah,
right there.
I can see that. And you might sneak another one in there too. But just based on the quarterback play alone, I don't see that.
I will say this: quarterback play was much better than what it was last year, and it was much better than Caleb Williams in his debut as well.
And statistically, it wasn't.
Yeah,
but it just had a different feel to it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, absolutely. I mean, how many people watching in Nashville, their heart skipped a beat when he floated that ball up in the air, just having flashbacks, PTSD to last season, just thinking, oh gosh, that's a pick six.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he made better decisions today.
Yeah.
All right, more of your phones when we come back. This is the Lee Company Titans Talkback right here on 104.5 The Zone. It's the Lee Company Titans Talkback. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. The Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company. Tackle their heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical problems, and they can protect your home too. Your next play? Visit leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Kroger's set to check out today's final sack numbers tonight. Thanks to Big Jeff, the Titans had 1 sack versus the Broncos, adding $100 to the $400 previously gained in the preseason to bring the total to $500 for Kroger's donation to Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee. Every time the Titans sack the opposing team's quarterback, Kroger donates $100 Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee from Kroger. Through its Zero Hunger, Zero Waste plan, Kroger is committed to creating communities free of hunger and waste. Kroger is the official tailgate headquarters of the Oh, my gosh.
You got this.
Kroger's the official tailgate headquarters of the Tennessee Titans. Try Boost by Kroger Plus for free pickup and delivery, plus 2 times the fuel points with your membership. Start your free trial today at Kroger.com. Pay as low as 1 cent per gallon when you redeem fuel points by using your shopper's card. Every 100 points gets you 10 cents off per gallon. Exclusions apply. Visit Kroger.com for details. I'll never get live reads at this rate. Let's go to Micah, who wants to talk Titans. Micah, you're on with Titans Talkback.
Hey guys, thank you for taking my call. So I had a couple good takeaways and bad ones. I think some of the bad takeaways from that game were definitely the drop balls. I mean, the receivers, you got to hang on to those balls. Like some of Calvin Ridley's drops were really crucial at the end of the game, that one down the seam there. The O-line, I mean, it kind of fell apart. I know it's a good defensive line they're going up against, but they just really did not hold up. And we have not seen that since Taylor Lewan in that year. We have not seen their O-line be good like that since then. The play calling, other people have mentioned that have called in, it was not great in some situations. I still believe in Brian Callahan. I don't think we've seen enough from him yet with last year and Will Levis. It's kind of hard to judge him off of that 3-win season when a lot of that wasn't his fault. And then the penalties, they got to clean that up. I mean, they gave up a whole football field of penalties over that by the end of the game. I mean, I don't know if Jeffrey Simmons didn't hear the whistle there, but that was rough. Some of my good takeaways is Cam Moore. He looked good. Our defense looked good. It might have been a fluky performance, but, I mean, they held up, bend but don't break, and that's what they did that game against a good Bo Nix offense. And I think the last one, and I think the biggest one, is the rookies looked really good. And you saw a lot of potential with that return by Chimere Dike. Eli Manor looked pretty good. Gunnar Helm got some action in there, and Cam Ward looked good. So I think the rookies look solid out there, and I think that's the biggest takeaway in the good side, where you can see how the rookies have a lot of potential. Thanks for taking my call.
No problem. Thanks for staying on the line, Micah. We really appreciate it. Micah's coming for all of our jobs.
I was about to say, let's let Micah do the show tonight, because, man, Micah was spitting there.
Yeah. And he got it all out very succinctly. And quickly. He basically just covered everything.
It's like he's done that before.
But if he's got getting radio, you got to be able to gas bag a little bit more.
That's true.
Stretch out those things.
Well, he's being considerate of the phones. He's like, we got to get this back to the hosts.
I will say this, that the Tennessee Titans rookie class is showing some promise. I do think Chimere Dike and the return job, I guess now we know why he got the return job, even though it was a couple, 2 weeks ago, he wasn't ready, and now he is ready, and he looked ready. So
he almost had a touchdown today.
I guess in bones we trust for Chimere Dike. That can help and change. That's an element they didn't have last year, and special teams outside, I believe, one weird unnecessary roughness penalty that on James Williams that we never saw the replay of. Other than that one penalty, special teams was an issue today. Yeah. I mean, they're the only ones that scored points.
Yeah, and they got a turnover and everything else.
Yeah, so you have to give props to special teams there. We'll talk more about the offensive line, but let's get through some of these phone calls because some of these people have been waiting for a long time to talk about the Tennessee Titans. Let's go to Bo in Old Hickory. Bo, you're on with Titans Talkback.
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for taking my call. Long-time caller. I used to call from the Nations under a different name, but I got pressed out of that neighborhood, so I'm calling from Old Hickory now. First thing I want to say is the broadcast, the radio broadcast. I thought it was spectacular.
Oh, good.
I mean, I listened to the Vols too, so I'm a little bit torn when I hear sack on Saturday when we don't hear it on Sundays anymore, but I thought the guys did great. Your station was a great compliment to Titans Radio, and just wanted to say that off the top. second thing I wanted to say is, as a longtime Titans fan, it seems to me that we sometimes fall under this spooky kind of like identity politics sort of thing, and thinking that we're predetermined to be average or below average because that's what we've experienced throughout history. But I would remind everybody that adopts that way of thinking, that this is a brand new team, basically brand new coach, new GM. There's nothing really that links our DNA from this year to the disappointment of even 3 years ago. It was a different GM and a different coach. So I'm optimistic. I think there's reasons to be optimistic. I think Cam Ward is first and foremost that reason. There's always going to be pessimism with Titans fans because we think that we're the same as that we were 6 or 7 years ago. There's only one real team in the NFL that has an identity that you can trace from now back, and that's the Steelers. Everybody else is constantly changing. So I'll keep to that hope, and I appreciate you guys taking my call, and go Titans.
Thank you, Bo. That was, I think, a very optimistic outlook. But I do want to build on one of his things about how this is kind of a little bit of a newer team. Over 50% roster turnover for the second year in a row.
That's high.
That's a lot of newness, really high. This is also a rebuild, and they obviously really leaned in to, I don't know what the snap counts were, but I saw Chimere Dike out there way more than Tyler Lockett. So, they're leaning into this youth movement that's going to come with growing pains. Yeah. How much of this can we attribute to all this newness and all this? Because really the only common denominator thread are the staff.
Yeah.
Besides special teams.
Yeah, and I think the administrative side, the decision makers, the GM, president, that type of thing, they're building this in their image now, so there's going to be that transitional period. And last year was one of those ones, you got a new head coach and he's trying to build it, and now he's got a new decision maker above him. So there's going to be some valleys. You just hope they're not very deep.
I will say, to Bo's point about the superstition over the organization, I will say the fact that the team endured a loss like this with so much newness and turnover is actually probably evidence that there is some sort of outside force that is affecting the outcome on the field. Maybe
Voodoo dolls.
Yeah, maybe we need to hire like an exorcist or something to come in here just to be sure, I don't know.
I would agree with that. I feel like this team for a little bit now has created these kind of self-inflicted lose-lose situations, because let's say everybody's talking about, well, he should have ran it instead of passing it in the red zone. Well, what if he would have ran it and stuffed? Everybody would have been saying, "Oh, I can't believe he ran it 3 times or however many times."
Yeah.
Like, he put himself in an impossible situation, and the team has shown really since under Vrabel, when you get penalties, it really has a hard time overcoming that kind of stuff. And I do get the sense that Cam Ward can overcome it, but he can't overcome penalties, drops, in an offensive line. Yeah. And because we haven't really hammered the offensive line as much as we probably should. They struggled. And then I do blame a little bit on Brian Callahan. I mean, he kept Tony Pollard in, but you may have needed a bigger body to help Oli Udoh out, not Tony Pollard. And Tony Pollard is actually muddy in the pocket because he's right in front of Cam on some of these plays. And so that's making Cam having to move around to, it's just, I felt like he could have done a little bit more to help Cam out, but also Oli Udoh.
That was, what cures all? Winning.
Yeah.
Winning. Yeah.
All this stuff we're talking about, people be like, he bad play called down there, but we won. You got to get off. You got to get off the snide, man.
And a lot of people really wanting John Gruden. I guess they forgot that he's a bad head coach. He wasn't any better when he left the NFL.
One more thing that Cam
and also Brian Callahan is part of the John Gruden coaching tree, so
he sure is.
Just get more of the same.
Oh boy, that's a good.
Get more of the same if you want it.
Cam Ward also cannot overcome an ancient curse from the witch in the woods.
That is true.
Either. So that's I need to tell people I'm just joking around. People are in a bad mood tonight. They're probably not willing to put up with me.
He's not trying to hear that right now, bro.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Willie Joe. Willie Joe, you're on with Titans Talkback.
Yeah.
There we go.
Y'all there?
We're here.
Yeah, buddy. I got about 3 quick points because I'm sitting down here in Waynesboro, My wife wanted filet mignon, but I had to cook her hamburgers because of the Titans. They're so bad.
Dang.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Taking it out on the wife.
Let me give you something. Brian Callahan, he needs to be fired tomorrow. Anybody that would not run the ball 3 times at the end of the half cost us the game. We had all the momentum, but nobody wants to say that because we're too scared to talk about Brian Callahan. The guy might be the worst coach in the NFL. And number 2, Calvin Ridley, I don't know what that guy is doing. He dropped 3 balls that I might have caught with my old butt running down the field. Hit me right in the hands. I probably would have caught him. But my last point is Brian Callahan running the ball on first down with 9 guys in the box running play action. What are you doing, man? I mean, I don't understand what this guy gets paid for. I'm sitting here with my kids going, they're going to run the ball, 9 guys in the box, play action. Sack! Where's Mike Keith? Because that's what he would have been saying if it was the other way around. But I'm just done with Brian Callahan. They need to fire him tomorrow and hire Jeb off the street down here in Waynesboro. He probably call a better play. And that's all I got.
Are you going to allow your wife to have condiments with the hamburger? Or she got to eat a plain?
Yeah, I give her some cheese and some buns and a little mustard and ketchup. And the other guy y'all need to throw a flag on is that Eric guy from Nashville. Every time you got to hear that guy. I don't know why he gets preferential treatment on the call-in shows, but I'm so done listening to that guy and his heartache. I'm just done with that, too. He's like the Titans. When y'all quit doing him, maybe the Titans will win.
Well, he calls in first, so I always take it by.
Hey, y'all got a button to say no call. You know, no call. We're not running that play today. You know, run that, Zach. How about that?
All right, I like it, Willie Joe. I hope we get to hear more from you as the weeks go on.
I'm calling every game because I am so tired of watching Brian Callahan. If I was Amy Adams Strunk, I would fire him in the morning. He would not have a job because he passed it 3 times on 46 seconds to go in the first half and give him a touchdown. I mean, what dummy does that?
Careful.
I was just thinking in my head that I'm really surprised Willie Joe hasn't cussed yet. It was so close.
I'm not going to cuss. I'm not that. I really want to, but I'm not going to do that because I'm in control, bro. I ain't like Brian Callahan. That's out of control.
All right, Willie Joe, we appreciate it.
The guy has no clue.
All right, enjoy those hamburgers, Willie Joe. Oh, man. We got collar on collar violence, too.
Yeah,
I mean, going after Eric and everything.
Yeah, he meant that.
Yeah, he did.
He had to pull that back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just literally thinking, too, when he starts like, man, I'm actually kind of surprised Willie Joe hasn't cussed yet. Because he sounds like he's having a blast or with, eating
I'm telling you
plain
what,
hamburgers
man,
or whatever.
Stay out of Willie Joe's way tonight, especially if you're Brian Callahan.
Especially if you're Brian Callahan. If his wife's getting hamburgers, what would he feed Brian Callahan? That's the real question.
Oh, I don't even want to know. I don't want to know.
All right, let's go to Marcus. Marcus, you're on with Titans Talkback.
Man, dude, I tell you, I watched that game, and the thing is, man, it all started. This is where it all started. We had Nick's man at his own receiver. We gave that man too many chances. Right there in the half, man, and we could have just at least you gotta know how to do time. Nobody plays Madden. You know what I'm saying? This is like Pee Wee League coaching tonight on time. And when that happened right there, I told my boy, I said, he's gonna come out in the second half and he'll go off. And exactly what happened. You know what I'm saying? You can't give people so much momentum when you got them down on their knees. And then when we get turnovers, we gotta start scoring points. We don't need to be kicking these field goals. We gotta start. We had 4. 2 or 3 turnovers, and what we do, punt the ball away. It's just Lord have mercy. And then Cam, I love him. He did good on certain plays. But then, hey, he 12 for 28, 100 and something yards. It sounds like a running back. They don't sound like a quarterback. That's all I got to say, man.
All right. Thanks, Marcus. Yeah. I mean, just letting people vent.
I mean, you know what? This fan base needs it after that today.
They need it. Let's go to Mark. Mark, you're on with Titans Talkback.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. So I can't be optimistic, right? You can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. We had 5 possessions inside Denver's territory, not a single touchdown. 2, I can't remember the caller before, had 3 straight passes right before half. And you got to make Denver use their timeout, kill the clock, go to the locker room up by 3, keep the momentum. Another thing, I think we had more penalty yards than Cam had passing yards. So I don't know why the lack of discipline from last year to this year, like it has not translated like they said that they talked about all off season. And, my last thing is I thought most coaches script the first 15 plays every game. I don't know if Callahan does because it's the same 15 plays and there's no adjustments ever. So, I mean, he's a super nice guy, but he is not an NFL head coach, in my opinion, or maybe he could be a CEO, but not a play caller. But thanks, guys.
And thanks, Mark. I think we all kind of are maybe leaning that could be the eventual outcome. The CEO, head coach, maybe having to give up play calling to keep his job. Because you got to be thinking, Brinker and Bergonzi are up there in the suite, probably with Amy, watching this all unfold and thinking, oh, did we make a mistake not just cleaning house when we got rid of Rand Carthon? I mean, that's a real thing because that's what I said they should do. If you're going to fire one, fire them all. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm all for giving people second chances and stuff, so I wasn't like, you have to fire Rand Carthon. Of course, right now, I feel like with what Mike Bergonzi has done, I feel like, okay, that makes a little bit of sense. But keeping Brian Callahan could be a crucial mistake.
Yeah, I'm not going to get in somebody's checkbook because she got to pay that check if he fire him too.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? They're guaranteed. So I can understand them conversations from a fiscal standpoint too with this stadium going up, man. So there's a lot going on.
Yep.
I say this, man. He's in this position for a reason. He's been able to be successful for a reason. I think there, whether you call it consultants, give up play calling duties, rely on your father and his expertise, his experience, have these conversations with the GM, president, and owner. All these different things are happening behind closed doors. So what they're looking at, like you talked about, that example of being in the suite, those next conversations are, I would assume, do you want to relinquish the play calling duties?
Yeah.
Maybe not this week, but if this trend continues, I bet you that becomes the conversation.
Yeah, I'm not ready to go down that road just yet because I know it can be a bit cliche, but it was, as Dr. Dyson keeps bringing up, it was just week 1.
Yeah.
But I do think it was interesting because I looked at you when we were watching the game here earlier and I said, what are Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi thinking watching this product right now? And how do they feel about the way the team is performing, the decisions that were being made with the personnel, with the play calling, all that stuff? Because I do think it's a fair thing to criticize his performance today as the head coach. And I think the more weeks you stack like that is when you start getting into that territory where it's like, okay, something's going to have to change because this is not working. And we're still having these questions a quarter of the way through the season.
Yep.
It'll be interesting because I know that Brian Daboll gave play calling to Mike Kafka recently, took it back, and then gave it back to him for the start of this year. And the New York Giants today with Mike Kafka as the play caller scored 6 points. So sometimes grass isn't always greener, but we'll see.
And it's a fair question, and I think Callahan would even say that. It's a fair question because, and again, it's all on him as a head coach.
All right, when we come back, we'll go to more of your phones. It's the Lee Company Titans Talkback. We'll also do our Eurofix look ahead because guess what? Tennessee Titans have another game this season is unfortunately not over. This is the Lee Company Titans Talk back here on 105 The Zone. It's the Lee Company Titans Talkback. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. We'll do our Eurofix look ahead as we look, of course, to the regular season, the next regular season game against the LA Rams. But first, we're going to go to your phone calls. The last three phone calls. Richard, John, and Gil, you guys are going to have to make it quick. Richard, we'll start with you.
Okay. First, I think Callahan needs to fire his daddy. Second, Don't be confused that just because this is Cam's first year that Callahan will stay on board because, he has a quarterback. He's just getting started. You can go back almost the last 10 years of rookie quarterbacks and first-year coaches getting the first year with that rookie quarterback, and they're getting fired during that rookie quarterback's rookie season. I think of Jeff with Jared Goff. I think of Bryce Young with, what's his name, Wright. I think of last year, Caleb Williams, Eberflus, even Lovie Smith and Jameis Winston. So just because you draft a rookie quarterback is not going to save your behind. That's my call.
I agree.
Yeah, great point.
I mean, he's in prove-it mode. I think we all agree with that. And he even said, we got to go out here and prove it. And he said that heading into this game, and I think they proved it in some aspects, and in a lot of aspects, they did not. They did not prove what he wanted them to prove.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's go to John. John, you're on with Titans Talkback.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. So I'm the type of fan where for the last few years, especially since we've been moving, I don't like to watch any of the Titans local sports shows and anybody with sports media because I'm just so passionate. And tonight, even I was mad during the game. Don't get me wrong, I was mad during the game, but tonight is different, and it's because of Cam Ward. And Jake Locker, I've watched his first game. I watched Mariota's first game. I watched Levis's first game. And even as rookies, even after they won those games, I forgot if Jake Locker won his first game. Sorry. But even after Mariota and Levis won their games, I still feel better about Cam Ward than I do about Mariota and Levis after they won their first games. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the Denver's defense was supposed to be ranked number one this year, and they might as well be. Anyway, but I'll make it short. I love the rookies. I was not expecting them to even perform well tonight. Femi I felt like he was leading the defense, shifting the defensive line, and I saw him clap his hands multiple plays, especially in the second half. Eric, we need to find a nickname for him because out of Stanford, because I can't pronounce his last name. Making that catch over Patrick, Surtain, the defensive player of the year, even if it was out of bounds, just him making that catch. And then, of course, DK surprised me. Anyway, if Callahan gets fired this year, I think we should give a call to Nick Saban. I don't know what that's going to take, but yes, that's my call. Have a good evening.
All right, thanks.
The first Nick Saban.
Well,
now we're talking.
You can't have Nick Saban. He needs to go back to Alabama. Dyson, what do you think about Cam Ward breaking that curse?
They are begging for him to come back.
But don't you think that there is something to, like, I don't know, I kind of felt really good about Marcus after his first game. Levis, I was like, oh, that's fun. And then I'm like, I don't know about this.
Is that fool's
But Cam Ward, he's kind of proven to be this guy that there's going to be highs and lows, but I think you could believe him.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like statistically, you look at his numbers, and the quarterbacks you mentioned, he wasn't nowhere close to what they are, but you have just this feel that he's going to be something special. And I think it's just maybe his demeanor, his actions on the field. He doesn't seem to be bothered. I think he seems to process things very quickly. He just has a different feel. Mariota, I think I had high hopes for him, especially in the offense he was in that first year. I thought it was catered to his skill set. They did a lot of RPOs, flash reads, putting ball right in front of him. He didn't have to throw outside the numbers a whole lot, which he struggled with. It was statistically, he was very, very, very low throwing the ball outside the numbers. But I thought that first year, if they kept that thing together, I thought he might have had a better time here as the Titans quarterback. But when we saw that big old game, you just thought, oh man, is this the guy? Is the second coming? Big arm, big strength, big body, and all that kind of stuff. And then it just kind of fizzled right from there. He set the bar so high that I don't think he ever was going to amass his potential from that game and what he was able to accomplish. But with Cam, it just seems like he's saying the right things, he's doing the right things, his actions are the right way, he's leading the right way, he holds himself accountable. He gives you this sense of something's better to come.
Yeah, I think he's a natural. I mean, he didn't look out of depth at all today.
Yeah.
All right. Now we look ahead to next week's opponent in the look ahead presented by Eurofix. Let me remind you that Eurofix repairs everything European that you drive and below dealer pricing. ASE Certified Technicians, a local company that serviced Middle Tennessee for over 2 decades. Visit EurofixOnline.com. Next week, the Titans head back home to take on the Los Angeles Rams for the debut of Cam Ward at Nissan Stadium. Just more of the same. Stoney, I'll start with you. What's your big look ahead for next week?
It is a really good defensive front. They've got a lot of young talent, and I think this is going to be another test for that offensive line that's still working things out for the rookie quarterback. And I think you've got a really good balanced offense that this defense is going to go up against. 25 carries on the ground today, 29 pass attempts for the Rams in their defeat of the Houston Texans. This is a well-oiled machine that's going to be coming to Nissan Stadium.
Yeah. That is right.
And they kind of bucked the trend of the NFL where we saw today where a quarterback threw for 40 times. And he wasn't efficient in that as well. But I think this is a great opportunity for Camden to bounce back, whether they win or lose. I think being able to be better and be productive and not have the same mistakes, and that's from coaches even to the players. Obviously, you got to clean up the penalties. You like to see some points in the red zone, get some touchdowns, not field goals. And if defense continue to play solid like that, I think, man, we can get excited about something after this week.
That music scared the crap out of me. My headphones, it was so loud. It made my heart jump out of my chest for a second. It's going to be more of the same. I feel like we're going to see Cam Ward under pressure, under duress, because I don't believe that the left tackle situation is fixed. We have no clue what J.C. Latham is going to be doing. He's going to be under duress. Can the other players step up when they need him? Because he's stepping up, but now he needs other players to step up with him. And, of course, we have the defense. Well, that will do it for us. This has been the Lee Company Titans Talkback here. Oh, you juked me, didn't you? Never mind. We're still on. So we're going to be on for just a little bit. But, I mean, at this point, I am curious to see if this defense could put together some consistent performances. Because I've seen this kind of movie before with this defense, is that it shows up one week and then the next week it doesn't. Now, obviously, different matches. Obviously, Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua are better than what you saw this past week, and also Matt Stafford is probably better than what you saw this last week. And I would say right now, Sean McVay's are better than Sean Payton.
Yeah.
And I think it will be interesting to see how Denard Wilson is able to attack that offense and all of that. That will do it for us for real this time. This has been the Lee Company Titans Talk back here on 105 The Zone. Titans radio coverage is produced by Joseph Bonanno, studio producer Justin Hawkins, studio host Lucas Panzica, promotions director Rich Ferris, director of sales Hunter Rice, general manager Allison Warren, operations manager Paul Mason, executive producer Rhett Bryan. We'll see you guys next week. Lee Company Titans Talk back here on 104.5 The Zone.